Joining us right now is Jon Heubusch, Executive Director of the Reagan Library. He is here, he's an author, and has a lot of information for us on a lot of topics. Jon, great to see you.
Great to be with you, Bret.
You have a new book out, and it is the second in a series of books. Tell me about it.
You know, Bret, hopefully this book is as successful as your most recent book, but this is just pure fiction, but it's a fantastic story. It all centers around the famous Shroud of Turin, the most controversial religious relic in the history of mankind, the burial cloth of Jesus Christ. And the book's all about an atheist scientist who goes about to set out to prove that the shroud's a fake. And in the process of this great discovery, he finds out maybe the opposite is true, and it tells him also a lot about his own faith as well. So it's a real thriller. It's quite a tale.
#1 on Amazon in its category, and it's a sequel to the Shroud Conspiracy, which was also a big success.
Yeah, it really was. These two books together, they're somewhat, if you like the Da Vinci Code or Angels and Demons, that style book, you'll probably really like this book, The Second Coming.
What got you to this topic and this kind of writing?
You know, I used to run a foundation that did historical discovery, and we went after trying to find Amelia Earhart's airplane. We found the Lost Gospel of Judas, the famous apocryphal lost book of the Bible. And when I was out sea for 2 months and had a lot on my mind, I tried to think of how might the first novel I could ever produce, what might be the plot of it, and this whole idea of the Shroud of Turin, Jesus' burial cloth, came to my mind. And you know, the rest is history. Here we have 2 successful novels so far.
That's great. So, I mean, it's obviously fiction, and it's a story and a thriller, but you have pieces of really history here that thread together.
Yeah, you know, it's a fiction book, but you learn a whole lot about it. I've done many years of research that have gone into both these books, so it's both entertaining and a bit educational as well.
The new book's The Second Coming. I want to talk to you about a couple other things in your other role as the Executive Director of the Reagan Library, Presidential Library. You know, this president is facing what could be a loss of the House to Democrats. Reagan, obviously, in his midterm, the first one, saw a loss, but managed to still get things done. Is there a message in here, if that happens, we don't know if it will, but a message still to this administration?
Yeah, you know, Bret, Reagan lost 26 seats. We have to remember he never had the House of Representatives with him, right? He had a Democrat majority in the House for his entire 8 years. So from day one, if he wanted to get something done, he had to figure out a way to work across the aisle. I think President Trump is probably, well, I don't like to think it, he's probably in a situation where he's going to need to develop that same skill set, because if the winds hold true and they lose the same number of seats as they might have lost in the Reagan years, he'll have a Democrat majority. So the question is, can he build a working majority? Can he find enough Democrats? Are there any conservative or middle of the road Democrats left to put together a working majority to get things done? Otherwise, it'll just be executive action after executive action, and that's all we'll see.
One of the lasting things that any administration does is put judges on courts and justices on the Supreme Court. Brett Kavanaugh is in that process right now. Bumpy, you know, from the questioning point of view, confirmation hearing. Now there's some late developments. What's your sense? Is there a Borking in the mix here, or is he moving forward?
You know, we've, since the first days of Robert Bork and the Borking, I think Republicans have learned a lot of lessons. One of them is how to get the Senate and hold it. Fortunately, they've got, 51 votes. And I think, fortunately, the votes will add up so that Judge Kavanaugh will be approved. But we're seeing some of the ghost of Bork playing itself out right now. But at the end of the day, votes count, and I think Kavanaugh will get through.
Last thing, we're coming out your way for the Reagan Defense Forum. Really excited about it. It's a bigger deal over the years as you talk about big items that are really affecting foreign policy around the world.
That's right, and now with the recent passage of the Defense Authorization Bill and a record amount of money going into defense, this 6th annual Reagan Defense Forum is just going to be I think, really spectacular. We'll have the Secretary of Defense will be there, the head of the CIA. It's become, you know, in its class, one of the most important national security convenings in the country each year. And just glad to have you and Fox out there with us.
Yeah, we'll be broadcasting a lot of that, and we look forward to doing it. Okay, so the book is The Second Coming. People can get it any place?
Yeah, Amazon or Barnes & Noble, bookstores nationwide. So I hope to pick it up.
All right, John,
Great.
thank you so much.
Thanks so much, Bret.
Appreciate it.